Hey, this is Russ. I wanted to tell you a story that recently happened, okay? And it has to do with my original bike. Yeah, I have a giant mountain bike, all right, that well, it's not my first bike. Let me think about this. This is the fourth bike that I ever owned. Yeah. So let me give you a little backstory on this bike. Now, when we were in California, because we moved out in California, we bought new bikes when we were out in California so we can go riding. We rode around Lake Miramar. So if you're from San Diego, you know the area, okay? So my wife bought a bike, I bought a bike. We rode around Lake Miramar. But when we moved back to Chicago, we had so much stuff to move back. I said, you know what? We got to get rid of the bikes just to free up some space. So the guys who helped load the truck for me, because I drove the truck back from California back to Chicago, but I hired some guys to help me load the truck. As a last minute thought, I just asked the guys, I says, hey, do you guys want some bikes? So I sold them the bikes. I don't know what I sold it to them for. $20 each or something like that. I mean, it was a steal, but it was a way to get rid of the bikes so that we can close the door on the truck. So I didn't have any more bikes after that. And when we moved back to Chicago, after a while, I kind of thought, man, I really would like to have a bike again. So I went out and I bought a giant mountain bike. And my wife bought a Trek hybrid bike, which she still has downstairs. I have downstairs. So when I bought that bike, I started to ride it, and it was really the bike that told me that I had problems with my knees. Because after riding for a while, my knees were starting to hurt, and I started to realize I can't ride anymore. My knees hurt too much, and later on, of course, I found out I had torn meniscuses in my two knees, and I had both knees scoped out to clean up the torn meniscuses. And of course, later on, I ended up with a total knee replacement on my left knee. My right knee still has my original knee in there, but who knows how long that'll last. Okay, so it was that bike that actually got me to the point where I found out that I had a knee problem. All right. But over the years, even though I didn't ride the bike for many, many years, I kept looking at the bike. It was hung up in our garage. And of course, it gets dusty and dirty after a while, even just hanging there. So I'd take it down and I'd clean it up. I hang it back up on the garage. I hooked it up on the wheels, just flipped it over, hooked it up on the wheels, and put it on the garage. Well, we ended up moving to a different location, and now it's sitting in our basement. So recently, a request came in from our church saying that there was a family from Afghanistan, a refugee family who needed transportation, and they were looking for men's bikes or a car. All right, I didn't have a car to give away, but I had that bike, and I will tell you, when I read that, the first thing in my mind was I should donate this bike to this family, but I didn't want to do it. I really didn't want to do it because all these years I kept saying, I'm going to get back on that bike and I'm going to ride it. Even just before I went in for my knee replacement, if you watch any of my knee replacement videos, you'll see the very first thing I talk about, I was actually on the bike path with my mobility scooter saying, when this knee is fixed, I'm going to take that bike and I'm going to ride this path. I never did it. I bought my first e-bike. It was the Rad Rover 5. And I think maybe a couple weeks after I had that bike, I said, I'm going to pull out that mountain bike and see if I can actually ride this bike. And let me tell you, after riding an e-bike going at least 15 miles per hour, you know how fast I go now. I go as far as 28 miles per hour. Riding that bike felt like I was crawling. It really felt like I wasn't moving. And I don't know, there's no speedometer on that thing. I don't know how fast it was going, but I would venture to guess I was only doing maybe 8 miles an hour. And yeah, it was difficult. So I put it back in the basement, and I just said, yeah, I'm not going to ride this bike until my knees are even better. Okay. So when this request came in saying that this family from Afghanistan needed a bike or a car, my first thought was I should donate this bike, and you know that I don't donate anything from my e-bikes. I sell those e-bikes because I use that as Basically, I see it as what I make for doing the YouTube videos. Yeah, that's how I support my family at this point, right? So I only sell those bikes. I don't just give those away. But I still have this one bike that will never be sold, and and I still didn't want to give it away. I have an attachment to bikes. This is my problem. I have an attachment. I just can't seem to get rid of them once I have them. I don't want to get rid of them. They're part of me. So I didn't say anything. I just kind of kept it to myself. I'm thinking. My wife came home and she saw the announcement from the church and she says, "Why aren't you donating that bike?" Yeah. I thought about it and I just said, "Yeah, it is the right thing to do. There's a family in need. I can help that. I can give this bike." Now this is usually when they're asking for donations and stuff, people give things that they don't use, and sometimes they're all beat up and stuff. I'm going to tell you, whoever gets this bike is going to be really happy because this is a really good bike. Like I said, it probably has only 50 miles on it at most. I mean, the tires look new even. So, yeah, it was hard to give it away, but it is the right thing to do. So this Sunday, I gave away the bike. Yeah. So the family's going to get it. Hopefully he'll be able to use it well. I know that at least it was given through the church to somebody who actually needed it. So yeah, I will never get a chance to re-ride that bike or to ride a regular bike again, I think, because with all the e-bikes, I just don't see myself going back to something like that. But at least if this gentleman could use it, then he deserves to get it. So I just wanted to let you guys know that's what happened to the original bike that started this whole thing, the whole journey with the e-bikes for me. Now, I have a lot of bikes, but again, I use them for my work here on YouTube. And I use them to support my family. So, but again, this bike, although it's very good, it's not a cheap bike. It's probably more than they probably would even think they would be getting, quite frankly, but it's going to something that's of worth. So I just wanted to let you guys know that. Anyways, if you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'll talk to you guys next time.